Welcome back everybody to another Rhino 7 CAD modeling tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at how to model the neck of a guitar. If you're wondering how we got to where we are right now, I encourage you to go watch the previous video in this series. I'll try to remember to link that up in the corner for you guys to go watch. That explains how we got everything from the shaft to the head to the transition between the two. Today we're going to be looking at this part right here, how to model the heel of your guitar. I want to mention right before we get into this, the dimensions don't really matter so much. We're mainly looking at how to learn the surfacing techniques of how to do this rather than really focusing on the dimensions. I encourage you to go dimension the neck yourself depending on what kind of guitar you want to build. Anyways, so I have this 3-inch long heel here. I'm going to extrude that out to a depth of 7/8 of an inch. So this will be where our heel is, and then where we're going to be transitioning to that will be a 1.5 inch area in between the two here. So I'll draw a line out vertically and across, and then if we hop into our 4 view here, we can just get our trim command, select that as our cutting object, and trim that part of our neck away, and we can delete the lines we don't need. So this is where our transition is going to take place here. We're going to go ahead and duplicate some edges, which will be along the shaft of the neck, and we're going to run and extract ISO curve, and we want the middle of the neck. So for me that is I think a quad here. I'm going to go for the end intersection. If you're not getting those prompts there, turn on your O-snap and make sure the needed boxes are checked here in the bottom left. So now that we have that done, what we're going to need to do is grab a polyline, connect to the corner of your box there, do a 0.5 line directly towards the back corner there, and do the same on the other side. So now that we have that, we can right click on the ellipse from center. We'll get a drop down menu and we'll select the ellipse diameter. So our first axis is going to start in the middle of our box there. If we go over to our top view and hold shift down and turn your grid snap on, you will get a 1-inch line. From that, we want to select our second axis as the end of that 1/2 inch line we drew earlier. So now we're going to grab that ellipse, extrude the curve, and go up to the top of our box. Then grab your trim command, select the extruded oval we made, and we can start to trim away parts of the box there. So now select the box and the oval, press explode, and we get all of our surfaces that we're going to need. We can go ahead and delete everything off of the top and the bottom. Once you do that, press trim, select your side panels, and trim away the back portion of that oval. We can also delete some of these lines that we won't be needing, just so we don't get confused when we go to do the rest of it. Okay, so now that we have this bit here, we're going to select everything, join it up, do the cap command, so we get an enclosed box here, explode it one more time, and we can delete this face of the oval and the top portion. So this is what we're left with, kind of an empty box of where our heel will eventually end up. In order to start the transition here, we need to add in some guiding lines. So get that corner of where our ellipse meets the box, over here to the right view. Enter 1, go down that amount, and then 1 again, and go back towards the end of your heel, and then make a connecting line between the two. This gives us a 45-degree angle from which we can go from our shaft of the neck down to the heel. Alright, so now that we have this line here, we're going to copy, paste that, and run the move command. We will move that curve from the endpoint right where it is to the other side there. You could also mirror that, but I just find this to be a more consistent way of doing things. Rhino isn't always the best at getting things accurate when you're snapping, so I just like to move it to the correct point. So for the middle, what we're going to do is we're going to connect to the quad there, go down a 1/2 inch, and then go over an inch. So you can see that's kind of in the middle of where that is there, but we can select from that point, connect the two ends. We're going to end up with something that looks like that. But from here, what we're going to do is run an arc blend command. Select the ends of the lines we duplicated earlier, and you should start to end up with these types of curves. Okay, so when you do the middle curve here, you're going to end up with something that looks somewhat like this. So turn off your grid snap, grab this middle control point, and right here where you can see my cursor is right now, this white line here, you want that to be slightly above the black line. Otherwise it's going to look a little bit weird. So we can enter that. We're all done there. We're going to duplicate some edges. Going to want to duplicate the ovals here, and press enter and join those. Alright, next we're going to be running a kind of finicky command. So in your perspective view, make sure that it looks just like mine. We're going to run a command called network srf. Again, turn on no auto sort. And then I need you to run these commands in the exact same order that I do them, or else it probably won't work. So first, select the arc that is closest to you, then the one in the middle, then the one in the back. Select enter. Then on the shaft side, we can select that one, and then we can select our heel oval there. So when we press enter there, we can end up with this nice surface here. As far as I know, there's no other way to get this surface, so I prefer this method. Make sure they're all in the position order. You don't want it in any other one, so all position. And we'll click OK. Next, we're going to want to delete these side panels. Go to Polyline, select the outline of where that side panel is going to be on both sides. We're going to run a duplicate edge command on both sides. Grab those two polylines that you just made, and we'll join everything and then run a planar srf. So now we have two side panels that are going to match up to our model here. At this point, we can just select everything, press join and cap. At this point, we're going to start getting into our fillet edges. I'm going to go for a 0.25 to round off the bottom here. At this point, if you are planning to use this on a CNC machine, you are done. You can click off the video. It should work great for you. If you are planning on modeling an appearance model and you want it to look really good, we're going to get into filleting the bottom of this surface. And I'm going to show you how to do a custom fillet that's going to look a lot better than the auto-generated one that Rhino will give you. But if you're not interested in that, this is all you need to do. Okay, so now that the only people that are left are the ones who want to go through the painful process of filleting in Rhino, we're going to want to select anywhere on the bottom of our surface. We're going to go back into our 4 view here. I want to end up with a 1/16 fillet around the entire bottom of my neck. So I'll select that there. From that point there, I will select the end point. I will drag it across so it crosses the entire model. You can use your scale to make sure it goes all the way across the model there. If you don't have that on, it's the gumball setting right there. From that point, we're going to do an extrude curve. And we're going to want to select the direction turn on our grid snap and make sure that is going sideways. Okay, so now we have a surface that we can split the bottom portion off here. So I'm going to go to split. Objects to split will be the guitar neck. Our cutting objects will be that planar area that we made there. So we have this now. We're going to want to duplicate the edges on the bottom. Join those up. And then we are going to offset that. Again, 1/16 inwards. Make sure that goes inside. Okay, great. Now we can do a split command again. We'll split this bottom section by the offset we just made, and we can delete the other portion that's left. So now what you have here is kind of a gap where you would expect a fillet to be. We just have to make sure the computer knows where we want those fillets. So first off, we have to do a couple things. We have to extract ISO curves. So we'll select this one here in this direction right here that you see now. We'll go to the end on both corners of the fillet there. And then we'll do that again, toggling the direction, and we'll have one going straight up the middle. So that will be our V direction right there in the middle, midpoint. Awesome. So from there we can run arc blends. So we'll select the middle of this, and we should still have, okay, so we have to do one more extract ISO curve on this one. Toggle the direction and get the midpoint. Okay, great. Now we can do our arc blends. So we'll go to arc blend, select those midpoints there. We get a nice transition. We'll do the same on the other corners at the front. Now for the back here, we're going to do something a little bit different because we want a perfect circular area here. So for our polylines here, I'll select the end. I'll go 1/16 up and 1/16 over. However, I could just select the end of my fillet there. After I do that, we'll take the center circle and draw it in the correct view. The radius on that is going to be 1/8, so we can enter that in. Put in 1/18, 1/8. There we go. I can hold shift, drag that straight down, and it'll give me a nice circle there. We'll select our trim command, that's our cutting object, and we can just get rid of that. Alright, so next we're going to want to mirror this to the other side, so just select it, press mirror, start of mirror plane, press copy yes, if that's not already auto checked for you. Select the midpoint of your model, hold shift, drag up, and click. Now as you can see, we will have the same fillet there. Alright, so after you have all those guiding lines, run a duplicate edge command. Select all of the lines on the top. And then join those up. Okay, so the last step here is just to run a sweep to command. So we'll select our first rail here and our second rail here. And then we'll just go through and select all of our sweep shapes, which tells the computer exactly how we want this fillet to look. And then once we've selected all those, we can just press enter. There's going to be a gap here, maybe, not sure why, but that's pretty easy to fix. We can just select those again, select sweep shapes in between, and we'll just enter, and we get the remainder of that fillet. So Rhino should know how to do that automatically with a fillet command, but for some reason it just doesn't. So, but yes, that's a way to get fillets on your curves if Rhino doesn't want to do it for you. Alright guys, so that's pretty much it on how to do the heel for the guitar. So I hope this helped everybody. If it did, make sure you leave a like. That really helps out my channel a lot. Make sure other people see this video as well. But like I said, I hope this helped. See you guys in the next one.